part 7 to how I got Baker acted last night by my drunk mother. So, as I'm sitting in the emergency room, I'm hearing all this stuff go on. Like, there's so many traumas that come in. Or 2 traumas that came in, and a bunch of, like drunk people. Like, it was crazy how many drunk people were there. Again, this was, like, one of the bigger hospitals in Volusia County, though. So, because, like, the hospital that I had been going to for my asthma attacks is, like, a smaller one for just, like, my local, like, town. And then the one that I, like, had to go to actually serves, like, a bigger part of Volusia County. So, it was the biggest emergency room I had ever seen in my entire life. I couldn't believe how big it was. It went on and on and on. It was wild. I couldn't believe it. So anyway, they were severely understaffed, but I think they were fully staffed. I think they're fully staffed is severely understaffed in the emergency rooms because there was only 3 nurses on duty and they had 2 traumas that came in. So my nurse was left to do like 10, and again, like, this is like just my little section. There was like other sections where there's like 3 nurses, other sections where there were 3 nurses, but just the area. And it covered like 25 to 30 rooms. I'm like, that's insane. And like, there was a lot of people there last night. So, I ended up being at shift change. So I had like 1 nurse when it started, and then I had another nurse when I left. And so I'm sitting there watching Below Deck, which I love. Bravo is my favorite fucking, if I'm going to watch anything, it's going to be fucking Bravo. They are not D-list celebrities to me. Those are all my A-list celebrities. I put fucking reality TV stars above, like, regular people, like, Hollywood stars, because they are real. Yes, it could be scripted and all this shit, but at least they share, like, a decent amount of their lives, and I don't feel like, yes, it's curated, but it's not nearly as curated as, like, how the Kardashians and all that shit has become. Like, there's no authenticity to shit anymore, but to those shows, there is a bit. And so that's why I love them. So, all those types of shows, Real Lives of Mormon Wives, I haven't watched that one in a long time. Like, I haven't caught up on the newest Bravo shows, and I didn't like all Bravo shows. I never watched, like, Vanderpump Rules or Summer House or any of that type of shit. I just really watched Real Housewives. That was like my favorite thing ever. Or Below Deck. I love that one too. So, which is the yachting show, if you guys don't know. It's so fun. It's like they go on this like yacht charter boat, and they go on for a week, and they have to like serve these guests, and then like you have like a different steward team that like does the boat in each port, but there's like a lot that kind of follow through, but then you get like these, so it's really cool because you see like different nationalities and you see different places, and it's really a cool show. I love it. I don't know how I would feel being on a fucking boat like that for a week, but I would go for like 3 days or something. Like, I think that'd be super cool to go on like a charter boat someday, like that, where it's like really fancy and they like cook for you and they take you and do all this stuff. Love it. I love shit like that. Dream big, kids. That's where we're headed after all this fucking bullshit that we have to go through. So the doctor comes to see me at like 5 o'clock, or it was like 8:30 at this point. He had to come, so like the psych doctor had to come down to the emergency room to come visit me because obviously like that's where I was. And he like walks and he sees like obviously I'm in distress here. I went through like a full blown asthma attack, so you can tell obviously like I'm stressed out from this situation. So that already like puts me in a position of basically being the victim, because it's like it's sending me into such distress that I literally like had a full blown asthma reaction. So he comes to talk to me, and I don't even get through the first part. Because he can tell the way I'm speaking, obviously, like how I talk about it. I'm like, I obviously understand that when my mom's in an inebriated state, she is not rational. And so it was not rational for me to argue with her last night. That's like the first thing I said to him. I was like, I'm already aware of that, but I deal with this on a daily basis. And sometimes it is harder for me to regulate when she does things like this to me. And honestly, I do a really good job at it. But last night I did not. And that was the issue. And, he was like, he literally was like, I don't need to hear the rest of your story. He literally was so frustrated. He's like, I'm going to go get the Baker Act. He's like, I'm going to show you what the Baker Act is. I'm going to explain it to you because like, this is insane that like, you're literally here right now. And he comes and he starts to like read just a little bit. He's like, I'm not going to read this to you. You don't need to be here. He's like, so the thing with the Baker Act though, is that you have to have somebody come pick you up from where you are. And you have to have somebody vouch for your, like, behavior, basically, like what they think for you. So I'm like, there's so many parents that call her and are like, no, she's like a danger, you need to keep her there. And then they have to keep them there for 72 hours. That's the thing, I think. And then, like, I don't know how it works after that, but it's 72 hours for the Baker Act, which is insane. It's just, like, literally insane that this is allowed, it's legal, all this stuff. Obviously, I understand that, like, it's really appropriate for people who are actually like that. So, like, it is actually necessary. But then there's people like me who slip through the cracks. That's what I do. That's my little, that's my thing. That's what I contract, is slip through the cracks. Where it's actually, like, unjust, unlawful, like, no basis. Like, actually put there completely, like, on the words of somebody who just wants to retaliate against them. And I actually watched this with CPS with my friend. She had a baby daddy who was very retaliatory and very abusive. And if you get CPS just called on you in general more than 3 times, like, you risk actually having your kids taken away. And so he started to do that to try to get the kids taken away, because he knew that even if, like, there was no basis, and even if they go there and they find, like, your place is fine, by your third strike, you're fucking out. Like, you start to get, like, in big trouble. So, again, there's definitely people who take advantage of this and just retaliate against their partners. So it's insane that these laws exist. Again, like, I designed my life a very specific way to see very specific cracks. And 2 of those were CPS and now the psychiatric, situation in healthcare, the healthcare system in general. How, like, inhumane it is, how it doesn't make any logical sense, how it actually protects a lot of abusers or people who just want to be retaliatory towards you and can actually, like, deeply harm you and cause you to, like, have traumatic experiences. So anyway, so I'm sitting there and there's, like, it's, like, getting crazy in the ER, and the doctor, he's like, okay, well, I need to, like, who can I call? And it's, like, 8:30 in the morning, so I'm like, well, you can call my sister because she'll vouch for me, but she probably won't answer because in Chicago it's, like, 7:30 and it's a Saturday, so I don't think she's up. And then I was like, you could try to call my dad. I think he would vouch for my behavior. But the thing about my dad is he didn't come out at all last night. He didn't come out of the room to come help me. Like, because it did happen so fast, so I, like, don't kind of blame him, but at the same time, it's like, he heard my dad call, or my mom call for the Baker Act. Like, I know he did because she was, like, screaming about it. So it's like, the second he heard that, he should have, like, gotten up and seen, like, what was going on, but he didn't. And had he come out, he probably could have helped me not even get Baker Acted. So, like, I just didn't even talk to my dad. I haven't spoken to him since I've, like, got home. Like, we just, like, acted like it didn't even happen. That's my family for you. And so, the nurse comes and is like, your mom's actually coming to pick you up. I was like, okay, that's interesting. So I'm like, she must not remember anything. Because, like, I'm thinking she actually remembers stuff. So, I thought she was fully aware of, like, kind of what she did and, like, that she felt justified in what she did. That's, like, how I felt she was going to approach the situation. And so I was obviously, like, very angry and stuff when I went to leave. So I get out basically immediately, right? The doctor's, like, so fucking pissed that I'm even there. I'm like, thank you. He's very nice. I hope and pray that anybody who gets Baker Acted gets a doctor like that who, who has his brains and wits about him. And so, and you could tell he just felt horrible that, like, I was there because of, like, literally an alcoholic, like, situation. And, like, I told him a little bit that I had, like, a history of depression and stuff, but I also told him, like, that's because of my trauma. Obviously, you can see, like, I come from kind of a traumatic situation here, and, like, this is actually pretty on par for my family. So, not surprised, but also just, like, very pissed and inconvened here. And he was, like, he was super chill, super nice. So, again, God bless me with many, many things in this situation. To feel so many different things, like, that's the thing about it, is everything had an intention behind it. Everything, even getting sick 7 times, it was, to show the incompetence of the healthcare system and like, why we shouldn't even feel terrible at all for med beds, or that people are going to lose their jobs or things like that, because they're going to get new ones. That's the thing. When people hear they're losing their jobs, same with AI, you're going to get new ones if it's automated that are way better. You might not even have a job. Your job might just be to exist. What's so fucking wrong with that? People can't fathom it because we're so manipulated against that. Next part.